I think we've done this one.
I don't know. If not, I'll
I,
delete it. But you can't expect people to consistently do much extra work. So that Ariel talks about this for Hive Mapper. He's like, we want your daily drive to be. We basically want this thing to be no difference to you, and you just earn extra tokens. You found that you did a ton of work for Pollen, and that famously went south. But walk me through this idea that you can't expect people to do a ton of extra work consistently for crypto.
well, you can. You just can't trust that they're actually doing the work. Typically, the more difficult a task is, people are going to find ways to make their job easier.
To cheat it. Okay.
So with Pollen, for example, when we had to map our radios every day, it's like, well, how do we make that even easier? Um, how do we make sure that we don't miss some of the hexes that we have to hit?
Right. So the harder the
You
physical
know,
work, the greater the incentive basically to cheat. So you got to be
exactly.
really careful about like balancing those things out, and making sure like, hey, this should be relatively easy to do right and relatively difficult to do wrong.
Right. And one of the easy things with Helium was, for the most part, all you did was you set the thing up and then that was it. You set
Yeah.
up one time and it just kind of runs.
Yep.
You know, over time we saw that there needed to be some maintenance done, and that's why we're seeing so many that are offline. But that's another good example of the smallest amount of work to get a hotspot back online right now is likely just switching out an SD card, and like people just aren't doing it. So it's it's really difficult to get people to do work for tokens. So some of the best positioned projects are going to be the ones that you can just set and forget. It's kind of like a leave behind device where you
Yep.
you you put it somewhere and then it just runs.
Yep. Love it. It's a good way for projects to think about it, and also for the deployers to think about like, hey, is this a project that's requiring a ton of me? And if it is, like, I got to be careful about what it's asking. Okay, cool. I like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, another good example is DIMO. I just plug the thing into my car and it just sits there. I forget it's even plugged in. Right. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what you really want in a project.
Yeah. 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 Um. Well, let's see. We can go a little bit further. We'll keep rolling with this. So we've got two other projects: GeoDNet, which is similar to Helium, in the sense that oh, if I get this thing to focus. Um, in the sense you just set it up and leave it, and then the other one is going to be the anode react guys, where you're putting this thing on your energy meter and leaving it alone. Question to you there, off the top of my head, is: do you think it makes a big difference if you're also getting extra value from that thing? Like on the power meter, we're testing some of them right now. I can look on my app and see what's actually happening in the real world. It has almost nothing to do with crypto. Do you think that mitigates that kind of people won't do hard work over the long term, or is it
Oh,
unrelated?
of course. So, and what I also like about React in particular is if you want to be a large scale deployer of some of these React energy monitors, I could go to, let's say you don't care about the token at all, but I want to earn the token. I can go to you and say, hey, I'll set this thing up for free for you. And, you'll get all this data about your energy usage, and you can
Yep.
monitor when your wife is, using the energy, if it's a peak time or whatever.
Right.
Um, and that's something, because if you can offer hosts something other than just, you'll get some tokens,
Yep.
you open yourself up to a whole new class of people who otherwise wouldn't want to do anything with crypto, and they don't need to know that it's even crypto incentivized. They just know that they're now getting this service either for free or a very low price. And yeah, I mean, I think that's incredibly powerful.
Yeah. 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 I think that's why we'll see some of these most successful projects grow from here. Okay. Cool.